Angelina Jolie. You probably think you know her, right? Hollywood royalty, global superstar, constant tabloid fixture. But behind all those headlines, there's a story of some serious struggle, a huge transformation, and this relentless search for a real purpose. So let's get into the story of a woman we've all seen, but very few of us actually understand. And this quote right here, this is basically the theme of her entire life, in her own words. Her journey doesn't start with glamour, not at all. It starts with pain. And it's that very brokenness that would end up forging her into one of the most recognizable people on the entire planet. So yeah, that's the big question, isn't it? Who is she, really? Is she the wild child from the 90s? The Oscar-winning actress? The dedicated humanitarian? The devoted mom? Well, the truth is, she's all of those things, and it's those contradictions that make her story so fascinating.
I mean, look at her public life. It's just a map of contradictions. She was born into fame, but then she became this symbol of rebellion. She earned Hollywood's highest honor, the Oscar, while at the same time becoming pure tabloid gold. And right alongside all of that, a deep, deep commitment to humanitarian work and her family. It's just this dizzying mix of different people all in one.
Okay, so to understand any of this, we've got to go back, way back to the beginning. Because that power she has on screen, it didn't just come out of nowhere. It was literally born from a very real and very difficult youth that shaped her whole career. So even though she was born to an Oscar-winning actor, her childhood was no fairy tale, not even close. It was full of family tension that made her feel like an outsider in her own home. And that feeling just spiraled. By her early teens, she was in what she calls a dark place with some serious depression. So when she finally tried to break into the industry, that inner turmoil was used against her. She was rejected over and over for being, too intense. And this, right here, is the crucial point. For her, acting wasn't about getting famous. It was about survival. It was the one place she could take all that intensity, all that pain she was feeling, and just pour it into something powerful. Honestly, it was her only real outlet. And that raw honesty led to two roles that made everybody sit up and pay attention. First, playing the tragic supermodel Gia Karangi, where she just channeled her own history of pain right into the performance. And then, as the magnetic and frankly terrifying Lisa in Girl Interrupted. She wasn't just playing these characters, she was their fire and their damage. And for Girl Interrupted, she won the Oscar. I mean, this was it. The ultimate validation. The girl who was told she was too dark was now holding one of the most prestigious awards in Hollywood. She had officially arrived. But here's the twist. Years later, looking back on her life, she admitted that even at the absolute height of this success, she was still struggling big time. This quote is from much later, but it just shows you that all the external success in the world, it did nothing to heal what was going on inside. The fame didn't fix the pain. So what did? What finally changed everything for her? Well, the answer wasn't on a red carpet in Hollywood. It was in the fields of Cambodia. A movie role that was supposed to make her an action star ended up completely changing her entire life's purpose. And this right here was the turning point. She goes to Cambodia to play Lara Croft, a fictional adventurer raiding tombs. But while she's there, she sees the real-world aftermath of war and poverty. She met landmine survivors and refugees, and it just woke something up inside her. Yeah, the movie made her a global star, but Cambodia gave her a global mission. And let me tell you, this was not just a photo op. She dove in, headfirst. Within a year, she was a UN Goodwill Ambassador. She wasn't just visiting refugee camps. She was meeting with world leaders, pushing for policy changes, and putting her own money into the Jolie Pitt Foundation. This was a deep, long-term commitment. Her work really became the textbook example of what academics call celebrity humanitarianism. And the key to making that work is authenticity. The public has to believe that you're genuine. And Jolie was seen as the real deal because she tied it so closely to her personal life, adopting children from different countries and spending decades out in the field. But finding this new purpose didn't exactly simplify her life. As her humanitarian work got bigger, so did her celebrity, reaching a level that, very few people on Earth have ever experienced. And with that kind of fame comes unimaginable pressure. And of course, there was the Brangelina era. For more than a decade, her relationship with Brad Pitt and their growing multicultural family made them the center of this relentless global media storm. Every single move they made was documented, analyzed, and picked apart.
But in the middle of all this insane fame, a critique started to bubble up, one you still see online today. It's this paradox. If she's one of the biggest stars in the world, why does her filmography feel, well, kind of uneven? It's a real puzzle, massive fame, but a list of movies that a lot of people find pretty underwhelming.
Her career basically split into two completely different tracks. On one hand, you've got these incredible dramatic performances in movies like Changeling and A Mighty Heart that critics absolutely loved. And on the other hand, you have the massive blockbusters like Maleficent and Mr. and Mrs. Smith. She hardly ever found projects that managed to be both a critical hit and a huge box office success. And the sheer weight of that global fame on top of a really difficult public divorce, it all took a huge toll. She admitted that the whole process just exhausted her, that she felt completely disconnected from herself for years. She even said the constant scrutiny made a normal social life just impossible. After taking some time off to focus on her kids and just heal, she made a really powerful return to acting. She described her role as the opera singer Maria Callas as a major turning point, a way to use her craft to start feeling like herself again. So once again, acting became part of her recovery. So as she enters this new phase of her life, it's pretty clear her legacy isn't going to be defined by box office numbers or awards alone. It's something much bigger and way more personal than that. When it comes right down to it, her main identity is being a mother. She calls her 6 kids her best friends and says they're the ones who have stood by her more than anyone. After all those years in the spotlight, her family became her anchor, her real measure of success. And this is her final say on her own public image. She's gotten to a place of self-acceptance where what other people think just doesn't matter anymore. So the bottom line is, her identity isn't defined by headlines, but by her own values and the family she built. It's really a remarkable full-circle journey when you think about it. The same pain that almost destroyed her as a teenager became the fuel for her best performances and eventually her life's calling as a humanitarian. She didn't just get over her struggles, she transformed them into something powerful. And that kind of leaves us with this final thought. In a life as complex and public as Angelina Jolie's, how do you even measure a legacy? Is it the art she created, the activism she championed, or the family she raised? Her story seems to suggest the answer isn't about picking one, but about understanding how they're all connected.